This is RD Sharma solution, class 12, chapter 9, continuity. Exercise is 9.2. Find the values of a and b so that the function fx is defined by fx is equal to, there are three functions given and they are continuous, means they become continuous from 0 to pi. That is, from 0 to pi there are certain points where the function changes, pi by 4 and pi by 2. Now between 0 and pi, 0 is indicating 0, pi is indicating 180 degree. So we have 2 points in between 0 and pi by 4 and pi by 2. Now pi by 4 is corresponding to 45 degree, pi by 2 is corresponding to 90 degree. Okay. Now from 0 to pi by 4, the first one, x plus a root 2 sin x. Pi by 4 to pi by 2 will use 2x cot x plus b. And from pi by 2 to pi will use a cos 2x minus b sin x. For being continuous and differentiable, what happens? First of all, the continuity is left hand limit should be equal to right hand limit. So for your reference, I am just giving you the solution and I am going to tell you how it is done. But the answer is for your reference to write, right? The logic I am going to tell you. From 0 to pi by 2. So the point where the function changes or inversion takes place is pi by 4. So from to the left of pi by 4 and to the right of pi by 4 we need to find out. Similarly at pi by 2 also there is a inversion of the function. So at pi by 2 we will also check left hand limit and right hand limit. Let's see what happens. So we'll start with x equals pi by 4. Pi by 4 is essentially 45 degree only. And since it is being said that this becomes continuous, or we have to assume that it is continuous. And by assuming being continuous, we have to find out the value of a and b. So if you just move, you are just away before pi by 4, you can write pi by 4 minus h. Minus h, h is can be neglected, it is very small, it is all equal to 0, not equal to 0 but almost equal to 0. Similarly, pi by 2 plus h are a bit further than pi by 4. So we'll put first x equals pi by 4 and then pi by 4 minus h on the left hand side, and we'll replace x by pi by 4 plus h on the right hand side. Please remember, at pi by 4 minus h, you are behind pi by 4, so you have to use the first number function. Just a point ahead of pi by 4, you have to use 2x cot x plus b. Okay. So these two functions we have to use, one for left hand limit and one for right hand limit. And function number 1 is, as I said, x plus a root 2 sin x. Here we are going to put pi by 4 minus h. And then on the right hand side, right hand limit or right hand side, we will put x in 2x cot x plus b. So I am placing this pi by 4 minus h in the first function. So pi by 4 minus h plus a root 2 sin x. And in place of x, we are replacing it by pi by 4 minus h. So pi by 4 minus h it is. Minus h, you have a root 2 plus a root 2. And sine pi by 4 minus h. So we don't have any formula for sine pi by 2 minus pi by 4 minus h. So what to do here? The general idea or the general solution is, you have to open sine pi by 4 minus h. And this has to be done using sine a minus b formula. If you are aware of sine a minus b formula, you have to open it, then you have to solve it and then show the examiner or your teacher that this is how we do it. And that is the way. So if you are aware of sine a minus b, put it here. You should be aware, actually the solution will be like that only. But what I am going to do is, I am going to apply the limit directly. Why? Because I can see in this particular equation or expression, if I apply limit h tends to 0, I am not getting any value unprecedented like 0 by 0, 0 by infinity, infinity by infinity, which is undefined. So all are defined. If you put h as 0, we'll get a value of this function which will be defined, not undefined. So just put h equals to 0. Pi by 4 plus a root 2 sine pi by 4 will come. Okay. Please remember, you have to do it like sine pi by 4 minus h. You have to open the formula, because that is the way. Now sine 45 degree, that is sine pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. So just replace it by 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 cancel. You get pi by 4 plus a. This is your left hand limit. Now for the right hand limit, on the left hand side, you have done pi by 4 minus h. On the right hand limit, you have to add some very minute value, which is h. H tends to 0. H is very small, so it can be assumed to be 0. It is not 0 eventually. It's very small value. So we'll put it in 2x cot x plus b, the value of pi by 4 plus h, which is while I'm putting it while you watch. So this is 2 pi by 4 plus h cot pi by 4 plus h plus b. Now you have to use the formula of cot pi by 4 plus h, cot a plus b, or you can use 1 by tan a plus b. This is up to you. But remember, sin a minus b, tan a plus b formula or cot a plus b formula have to be used. This is the way this will be solved. If somebody tells you just put h equal to 0 and go ahead, it's wrong. Right? I am putting h equals to 0. Why? Because I know that I am not getting any value which I cannot comprehend, or which is not acceptable in mathematics. So what I am doing here is I am putting h as 0. So 2 into pi by 4 is pi by 2. Cot pi by 4 h I am replacing as 0. But you have to do it by cot a plus b. Please remember. So cot pi by 4, because tan pi by 4 is 1 by root 2, cot pi by 4 will be equal to, this is 1, tan 45 degree is 1, cot 45 degree is 1. So I am just replacing cot pi by 4 by 1. So pi by 2 plus b will come. Now left hand limit has to be equal to right hand limit, as we discussed earlier. So I am equating pi by 4 plus a equals pi by 2 plus b. Now when we equate this, we get an equation. The equation is pi by 2 minus pi by 4, which is eventually be equal to pi by 4, is equal to a minus b. So this is a minus this will not be b minus it is going to be a minus b. Let me just place it. Okay. So pi by 4 equals a minus b. This is the first equation. And since we have discussed what exactly has to be done, so the same way you have to do it. The way we have done for pi by 4, we have to do it for pi by 2. So pi by 2 minus h in the left hand limit, pi by 2 plus on the right hand limit. For pi by 2 minus h, you have to use the second function. For pi by 2 plus h, you have to use the third function. Okay. So when you put pi by 2 minus h in the 2x cot x plus b, you will get the value as b. Please recheck it. And in the third function, you are going to put pi by 2 plus h, which will give you minus a minus b. Okay. So x equals pi by 2. For x equals pi by 2, the left hand limit and right hand limit has come as b and minus a minus b, which I am equating. Actually, it is a minus b, rather minus a minus b and b. So 2b equals minus a. It will be a equals minus 2b. So a equals minus 2b here. Now put it here in pi by 4 equals a minus b. This already we have seen. So in place of a, I am replacing it by minus 2b. Minus 2b minus b is minus 3b. So pi by 4 equals minus 3b. b will be equal to 4 divided by 4. Pi divided by 4 multiplied by minus 3. So minus 4 pi by 12 it will be. So b is equal to minus pi by 12 and a is equal to minus 2b. So just multiply minus pi by 12 by minus 2. So minus 2 into minus pi by 12 is going to give you 6 pi by 6. So this is how the value will be computed, a and b. The function fx is defined as follows. So it is, if f is continuous on 0 to 8, find the value of a and b. there is no sine cos, but this question is exactly similar to what we have done just now. Okay, so to pre-anticipate what is going to happen is to make a number line. You'll start with 0, 8. These are the endpoints, or you can say this is the domain or boundary, whatever way you call it. Now 2 is in between, where the function inversion take place. 4 is that value where the function inversion take place. So the graph will, the graphical view also, you can assume that there will be some change. So that change, that point of change need to be continuous. And when it is being said that it is continuous, so you are assuming that it is continuous. So you are going to check at x equals 2 and x equals 4. So at x equals 2, we'll find out the left hand limit and right hand limit. So on the left hand side, we'll put 2 minus h. On the right hand side, we'll put 2 plus h. So 2 minus h, we'll use the function number 1, which is x square plus ax plus b. So we'll replace this 2 minus h in place of x in x square plus ax plus b. And we'll replace 2 plus h in 3x plus 2. So these are the function number I am telling you, where you have to use the function. So 0, 2 function is first one, 2, 4 the function is 3x plus 2, 4, 8 the function will be 2ax plus 5b. I hope you got the idea. Now coming to left hand limit, we are going to use x square plus ax plus b, but we have to put x equals 2 minus h. So this is the first function we are going to use, and we'll replace x by 2 minus h on the left hand side. So 2 minus h whole square plus a into 2 minus h here and plus b. Now placing 2 plus h, we'll place it at 3x plus 2. So 3 into 2 plus h plus 2. Now the answer which I am showing is for your reference, right? Because I am going to tell you the logic, but you need to understand how you are going to write it. Because solving a question is just not what I am doing. It's just giving you an idea. I'm actually training you. But as a student, you have to write all this. At x equals 2, we have is continuous at x equals 2, equals 4. This has to, everything has to be written properly. That is the reference I am giving you. Okay, coming back to the solution. I'm not finding any, if I put h equals 0, I'll get some unprecedented value. So I can just put h equals 0 here. So 2 minus h whole square. What you have to do is you have to open it 2 minus h whole square, 4 plus h square minus 4h. I am not doing it because I have some experience. I know that there is no difference in 2 minus h whole square opening and without opening if you put h equals 0. But for you have to open this, right? The previous question we saw sin a minus b has to be opened, then h tends to 0 has to be put. So h is 0, I am putting 2 square is 4 plus 2, h is 0, so for 2a plus b. Again here, so 3 to 6 plus 3h. This is how you have to do it. I am replacing h by 0, but you have to do it by 3 into 2 plus h, 6 plus 3h. So h tends to 0, you get 6 plus 2, which is going to be 8. So left hand limit is 8, right hand limit is, because LHL has to be equal to RHS if f is continuous at this point, 2, which we are checking. So for plus 2a plus b has to be equal to 6 plus 2, that is 8. So 2a plus b should be equal to 8 minus 4, that is 4. So this is the first equation. This is the first linear equation. And the second linear equation will get by x equals 4. So now the second point where the function actually changes is x equals 4. So left hand limit will put 4 minus h. On right hand limit will put 4 plus h. But the functions will change. So 4 minus h on the left hand limit of 4, we are going to take 3x plus 2. I am replacing x by 4 minus h. And x equals 4 plus h, I am replacing 2ax plus 5b, the x value with 4 plus h, because we are on the right hand side of 4. And between 4 and 8, we have to use the function 2ax plus 5b. Okay. So 2a in the place of x, I am putting 4 plus h plus 5b. Now you can just put h equals 0, but let me guide you. You have to do like 4 is 12 minus 3h. Then this is how you have to do. Just don't put h equals 0 as I am putting. You have to multiply it, open it, show every term and then do it. Okay. So I'm putting h equals 0 on both the sides. So this is limit h tends to 0. Let's apply it on both the sides. It is going to be, ch will be 0, 12 plus 2 is 14. Here 8a plus 5 by 2h is going to be 0. So for 8a plus 5b equals 14. Now this is the first equation, second equation. First equation was 2a plus b equals 4. Now in order to solve this, let me multiply the first equation by 4. Why? Because we'll get 8a. So 8a plus 4b equals 16. I multiply first equation by 4. And just subtract these two equations. 8a gets cancelled. 5b minus 4b is b. 14 minus 16 is a negative 2. So b is equal to negative 2. Okay, put it here. This is just a linear equation. You know, the a and b will be determined by this only. So 2a plus b is minus 2 equals 4. 2 equals 4 plus 2, that is going to be 6. A is equal to 3. B is equal to minus 2. So these are the values for this to be continuous. If fx is tan pi by 4 minus x cot 2x, for x not equal to pi by 4, it's being very clear that x cannot take value as pi by 4, because tan pi by 4 minus pi by 4 is tan 0. Okay, and cot 2x is 2 into pi by 4 is what? It's pi by 2. So cot pi by 2, which is eventually 1 by 10 pi by 2. 10 pi by 2, 10 0 by 10 pi by 2, or 1 by 10 pi by 2 is not a great value. I mean, we cannot comprehend that value. It is unprecedented. So we don't want any value to be 0 by 0, 0 by infinity, infinity by infinity, like that. That is how we do it. Now from 0 to pi by 2, we want it to be continuous. The question is saying that. But pi by 4 is in between. So there is a point where some function change is there or some discontinuity is there. So the question is asking, we have discontinuity at pi by 4, or we may have continuity at pi by 4. Now please tell us what will be the value f pi by 4 will be, so that this function is continuous right from 0 to pi by 4. That is at the point pi by 4, f pi by 4 we have to tell. And how to tell that? Because being continuous means left hand limit has to be equal to right hand limit. Being differentiable means left hand limit has to be equal to right hand limit, equal to the value of the function at that point, that is which here we are talking about pi by 4, because that is the point of contention. That is the point of concern. So what we will do is, that point of concern, please remember tan theta, cot theta, they both are continuous at from 0 to pi by 2. And 0 to pi by 2, where 0 and pi by 2 are not included. This 0 to pi by 2, for tan and cot, they are continuous, right? Because it is p by q form. One function p is continuous, q is continuous. When p and q are both continuous, you can say that p by q is also continuous. Okay, this is what we have learned. But the problem is pi by 4, because at pi by 4, we are not going to get the values we want, or which is not acceptable in mathematics. So we have to check the function at x equals pi by 4. So we'll find out the left hand limit and the right hand limit. Pi by 4 just behind pi by 4 and in front of pi by 4. Those values we have to take. So it can be very small value h. We can add and subtract. So left hand limit pi by 4 minus h. X equals pi by 4 plus h for the right hand limit. So the left hand limit has to be equal to right hand limit, and that has to be equal to the value of the function at pi by 4. So if the LHL and RHL are coming equal, that has to be equal to f pi by 4, which is the question asking. Question is asking what value to be assigned to f pi by 4, so that this function becomes continuous in the interval 0 and pi by 2. So that is why left hand limit and right hand limit we have to compute, and probably they are going to come equal, and that will equate to f pi by 4. Right? Okay. So pi by 4 minus h we have. This is tan pi by 4 minus x. In place of x, let us replace by pi by 4 minus h, which is eventually going to be equal to pi by 4 plus h. In the denominator, we have cot 2 in place of x, we are placing pi by 4 minus h. So cot pi by 2 minus 2h, and cot pi by 2 minus 2h, and cot 90 minus theta is tan theta. But it is in negative. So in the numerator, pi by 4 cancels tan h. So this denominator will be cot 90 minus theta is tan theta. So tan 2h. Okay. Now this cot has become 10, and it will not be negative because if you remember, add sugar to coffee, pi by 2 minus everything will be positive only. So tan theta by theta is 1 for limit. So I am making tan h and tan 2h such that we get this tan theta by theta form. So we multiplied numerator denominator by pi h in the numerator, denominator of the denominator by 2h. Okay, so tan h by h is 1, tan 2h by 2h is 1 when we apply a limit h tends to 0. So h by 2h only will remain, you'll get 1 by 2. Oh, coming to the right hand limit, similarly we will place pi by 4 plus h in this function. So tan pi by 4 plus pi by 4, and since pi by 4 plus h is there, but there is negative also. So we have to replace this both sign by negative, pi by 4 minus pi by 4 minus h. So both are negative here. And in the denominator, again we are going to replace this x by pi by 4 plus h. So what do you get? Cot 2 into pi by 4 plus h. So 2 into pi by 2 is pi by 2 plus 2h. So cot 90 plus theta, here it is going to come as negative. Cot 90 plus theta is minus tan theta. So tan numerator you will get 10 minus h, and denominator you have cot 90 plus theta, which is going to be minus tan 2h, and tan minus theta is equal to minus tan theta, as in sin minus theta is minus sin theta. So numerator will be minus tan theta, denominator was already minus tan 2h, remove this minus sign. So tan h by tan 2h it will be. So you have limit theta tends to 0, tan theta by theta is 1. So we'll do it the same way, tan h by h into h, and tan 2h by 2h and 2h by multiplying numerator denominator. This way we have to introduce ourselves. Applying tan h tends to 0, this is going to be 1, this is going to be 1, h gets cancelled, you get 1 by 2. So LHL and RHL both are 1 by 2. Okay. So this LHL and RHL, when it becomes 1 by 2, the question is asking what value of function f pi by 4 should be so that this function is continuous in this interval. So that has to be equal to LHL and RHL, which is equal to half. So f pi by 4 has to be half so that the function is continuous everywhere. This is the answer. Okay, from 0 to pi, this will be continuous. This question we'll take in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much and take care of yourself.